Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We will get started in just a couple of minutes as people are coming in. I was hoping to put on the closed captioning, but for some reason I am not being given that option this evening. So I do apologize, folks, that we will not have the closed captioning on this evening. Oh, wait a minute. There, it seems to be there. Okay, so it looks like it is there now. That's wonderful. And we are recording this evening. We still have some people joining in. My name is Michelle. I am with Anne Arundel County Public Library. Thank you for joining us. You are welcome to say hello in the chat or tell us who you are, where you're from. We're always happy to see who's joining us this evening. And we were going to ask a question as you're coming in regarding a guess of, if you had to make a guess, how many people in Maryland do you think were victims of lynching? So if you want to give a guess to that, that is nice. And it's so nice to see everybody this evening. I'm going to give it another minute just to let those last few people come in. Make a couple of adjustments on my screen. Maybe not. Kind of having two different screens going is a wonderful thing until it makes it look like you're not paying attention to what you're doing. So without further ado, I will go ahead and begin our program this evening. So good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. Before we begin though, I do want to take a quick moment to thank our Library Foundation. Our Library Foundation makes programs like this happen. They provide us financial support for these programs and many all throughout the year. And it's thanks to their hard work and the generosity of the donors that allow us to bring more educational, enriching, and inspiring programs to you throughout the year. So I will be dropping a link in the chat in a few minutes about our Library Foundation. If you would like to learn more about the work that they do, or possibly give a donation, if that's something that you were able to do. We are celebrating our 100th year anniversary for Anne Arundel County Public Library. So they do have a special promotion going on for that. Tonight's program will be recorded, and in order to respect everyone's privacy that is joining us this evening, we are using the webinar format, which means your cameras and your microphones have been disabled, but we do encourage you to use the chat or the Q&A to ask your questions, share your comments, share your thoughts, and our presenters will be taking some questions throughout. So we'll be definitely keeping an eye on that this evening. I have enabled the live closed captioning. These are Zoom auto-generated captioning. So if I talk too fast, they tend to mess things up, but overall they do a pretty decent job. So if captioning is something that you would like to see or not, you have control of that for yourself by clicking on that closed captioning icon on your screen. And I think that's it for my housekeeping. As I said, the program will be recorded and it will go up on the library's YouTube channel, but it does take us a few weeks to get it up there. So keep an eye on that. And again, I'll drop that link in the chat for you. And at this point, it is my pleasure to introduce our presenters this evening. We have Monica Lindsay with us for a second time. She was with us a few weeks ago on the Maryland Lynching program. Monica is an educator, a co-director of Connecting the Dots, and a board member of the Maryland Lynching Project. And joining Monica is Emma Buckman. Emma is the Deputy Director of March on Maryland and a member of Connecting the Dots. And both Monica and Emma are recipients of the Fannie Lou Hammer Award, which recognizes women from various racial backgrounds who've excelled in their chosen field while also working to improve civil and human rights in our region. So we're very pleased to have both of you joining us this evening. And so thank you both.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you very much for coordinating this event and giving us the opportunity to share this information this evening. We're really looking forward to sharing what we have in this evening's program.
Yes, thank you, Michelle and Monica. Shall I start the presentation and kick it off? I do want to say that if to the audience, Monica and I are going to try and keep this sort of conversational. There's a lot of information in this presentation, and I'll know things that Monica doesn't. That's rare, but but then Monica will know things I don't. And so if you also have any questions or feedback or comments, please feel free to keep in touch with us through the chat throughout, and any questions can go in the Q&A. So without further ado, I will share my screen. Oh, that's my email. And all right, so let me, there we are. Okay, so welcome everyone to the presentation of the Anne Arundel County Lynching Memorial Marker. This marker was a gift from the Equal Justice Initiative in partnership with Connecting the Dots, Anne Arundel County. As Michelle mentioned, this presentation is going to be presented by Monica Lindsay and myself on behalf of Connecting the Dots. So we just want to start first by explaining who Connecting the Dots is, what we do, who we are. So who we are is we are a grassroots coalition of individuals and organizations committed to education on the history of racism and lynching in Anne Arundel County. Through learning all of our history, we connect the dots between slavery, Jim Crow laws, and modern day police brutality and mass incarceration. We believe that through truth, we can have healing and reconciliation. As was mentioned, I work with March on Maryland, but March on Maryland, both myself as an individual and March on Maryland as the entity is engaged with Connecting the Dots. We have a really great, robust group.
We absolutely do. And here's a picture of our wonderful group. There's more people, but this was at our first annual retreat that we had just this past weekend. We had a wonderful time of socializing, coming together, hard work thrown in there, of course. But this core team is a phenomenal group of people who are working hard on the ideas. Of course, everyone isn't represented there. And I saw in the chat, we have, I call him Baba Carl Snowden because he is so full of knowledge and advice. So he's part of our group, as well as Will Schwartz is on there. And we'll talk a little bit later on about our MLMP, Maryland Lynching Memorial Project partnership, as well as Renee, who's in the picture here, and so many others. So I just feel like it's necessary when we say connecting the dots, who are we? We have to shout out the great faces and the people behind what Connecting the Dots does, the work behind it and the people behind the work.
Absolutely. So who we are is we are also a group that has several focuses and several key partnerships. So one of our main focuses is research. It drives all or most of or all of what we do. Our key relationships would be with EJI, the Equal Justice Initiative. This partnership was established in December of 2018. Another key partnership is with an organization Monica previously mentioned, the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. We've been working with them for many years, but the coalition partnership was established in December 2020. And through the research and these partnerships, we commit ourselves to community programming. Why aren't you listening to me?
It's not changing.
I know. Go
Great.
back. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so connecting the dots, what do we do? So we've done quite a few movie screenings and panel discussions. Back in 2018 was our first major foray into screenings and panel discussions. We brought 13th to the Maryland Hall. It was a phenomenal evening. I think it was well over 500 people who attended that event at the Maryland Hall on a weekday evening. We were thoroughly shocked at the attendance. And we had the cinematographer, Suzanne Kay, some great people on that panel that evening. We then followed in 2019 with the premiere of Burn by Will Schwartz, who is on the line with us this evening. Thank you for joining us, Will. And we had a panel discussion that followed with a descendant of George Armwood, one of the victims of lynching here in Anne Arundel County. Excuse me, not Anne Arundel County, here in Maryland, I apologize. And in 2020, we did a Just Mercy film screening and educational programming. That was, I guess, right before COVID hit us and kind of threw us for a loop. And we did a screening of Ashes to Ashes with the ancestor, Mr. Rembrandt, who has passed on. But he joined us for that film screening and panel discussion. He is the only known survivor of a lynching attempt. And he spoke to us so heartfelt about the experience and how it just continued to just taunt him and chase him. And he wrote a novel called Chasing Me to My Grave. And we were honored to have his presence at that panel discussion,
As well as his wife, who was there too. And at first, she did not want to speak just because she thought she didn't know what she could contribute, and then she contributes some of the most poignant points of the entire evening. So we were really honored to have them.
Absolutely.
There we go.
And as well as the film screenings and panel discussions, we host remembrances and memorials for lynching victims. So in December of 2018, we hosted our first remembrance for Henry Davis. We called it Henry Davis Lynching Remembrance, A Path to Reconciliation, because really, we really want to figure out how we discuss these hard topics so that that healing can begin. We did that in Annapolis, and we are planning our next remembrance. Again, because of COVID, we were a little slowed down in our tracks, but we do have in the works a remembrance for King Johnson. This will be a remembrance and soil collection in December. So stay tuned for more information on that. Slides are not working with us, huh?
It's taking its sweet time.
Yeah.
Here, why don't we try? There we go. Okay, I figured it out. So the third main component of what we do is historical memorial markers and education projects. And I think this will touch a little bit on one of the questions that we have in the Q&A is from Lisa Hull, which is, can you speak to what effort is being made to bring the duplicate county boxes from Montgomery, Alabama to at EJI to Maryland? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by boxes. Maybe Monica knows a little bit more specifically, but that's in line with what we do with EJI presently. I'm
wondering if she's referring to the memorial monuments that are at the museum. Maybe she can clarify the question as far as that's concerned. But those are the memorial monuments I think that she might be referring to. Lisa, do you want to speak to that?
Sure. Well, you actually might know more about what the most current happenings are with that.
So if you're referring to the memorial monuments, that is one of the things that is actually, I guess you would say, in the works as far as our work towards I think she responded. Yes, yes, yes. So that is part of what our initiative is. In order to do that, though, there are a number of things that each community that's engaged with bringing those memorial monuments, as well as the historical markers, must do. And part of that is what we're doing tonight. It's educating the community, it's having these remembrances, it's having the soil collections. So all of those items are in line with the requirements that the Equal Justice Initiative has in order to bring those memorial monuments to the districts or to the areas that they've been duplicated for. So yes, you're right on the money with that.
Yeah, and as a precursor to the monuments, we do have the lynching memorial markers, which were also a gift from EJI in the spirit of that same initiative. The first memorial marker was put in place on September 7th, 2019. I always remember that because it's my goddaughter's birthday. Connecting the dots along with EJI and the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project coordinated the installment of Maryland's first ever lynching memorial marker from EJI. It's situated on Calvert Street in Annapolis, which is across the street from the Arundel Center, which was previously the jail where one victim of lynching was taken to his death. So we are very happy that that memorial is there to make people reflect in that area. Unfortunately, and many people may already know this, there was an accident on Calvert Street where it was accidentally hit by a bus door. The original marker was unable to be placed back on its mount, but thanks to the ingenuity and craftsmanship of one of our members, Alan Kushner, we were able to build a new stand for it. And thanks to the generosity of the Anne Arundel County Public Library, it now has a home at the Severna Park Library, and that's why we're giving this presentation tonight to give you the history behind that monument. The newer monument was dedicated at the Severna Park Library earlier this year on June 15th. And then happening right now is in line with our event for King Johnson, our memorial for King Johnson in December. We're hosting our second ever scholarship contest, essay scholarship contest. This will be again in line with this memorial to King Davis. We have the details for that. We have a flyer and a site for that as well. I can't pull it up now because then it'll leave this and it's already finicky. So, but I will drop that link in the chat by the end of the presentation so that any students, it's eligible, all students in the Anne Arundel County Public School System between grades 9 and 12 are eligible to submit essays for this contest.
So this is just an image of that marker that's placed on Calvert Street. This was at the installation of the marker on that beautiful September day. It was absolutely a gorgeous day. And you see in that image, Jen Haber, who is my partnering co-chair, as well as Will Schwartz, the founder of the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. And we are just pleased to have been able to participate and bring this marker to the community with our partnership with the Equal Justice Initiative, as it was the first marker that honored the victims of lynching in the state. So that was a very joyful day. And I think we have a bit of the, I thought we were going to share a bit of the video, but it looks like we have just a little rundown of who some of the speakers were. We had Annapolis Mayor Gavin Buckley speak there, State Delegate Jocelyn Pina Melnick, County Executive Stuart Pittman, as well as Carl Snowden as some of our key speakers for that event.
Yes, and we, as Monica mentioned, I'm sorry, I should have given you a heads up about the slides, but we do have a brief video from the presentation. This photo is, it's grainy. I apologize, I couldn't make it better resolution, but this is from the end of the ceremony where we, as Carl Snowden likes to often do, join hands in community and make a change together. And we also sang together, and it was it was an incredible moment. So let me share this video. Oh, wait, I just remembered I made it easier for myself.
I am the founder and co-chair of Connecting the Dots. We embarked on a remembrance and reconciliation project, and that's why you all are here today. So the reason for me standing before you right now is to explain to you why we needed a remembrance and reconciliation project. When we embarked on this project, it was with a great deal of thought and consideration. This work of remembrance and reconciliation was not taken lightly. We understood that it may take us on a journey of unexpected and difficult twists and turns, and it has done exactly that. Throughout the world, truth and reconciliation, remembrance projects and commissions have been established in order to discover and reveal past wrongdoing by government or individuals or groups that hold influence, in the hope of resolving conflict left over from the past. Truth commissions have been set up by states emerging from periods of internal unrest, civil war, or dictatorship, and span the globe from Argentina to Chile to Germany to South Africa. We also understood that between the Civil War and World War II, thousands of African Americans were lynched in the United States. Lynchings were violent and public acts of torture that traumatized Black people throughout the country and were largely tolerated by state and federal officials. Terror lynchings peaked between 1880 and 1940 and claimed the lives of African American men, women, and children who were forced to endure the fear, humiliation, and barbarity of this widespread phenomenon unaided. This was terrorism, a vicious tool of racial control that continues to impact all of us today. We knew that Anne Arundel County was part of this history of racial terror. The groundwork had been laid by local historians and leaders who shared the stories, provided tours, and installed plaques and markers. In the Brewery Hill Cemetery on West Street are two markers to victims of such injustice. They are Henry Davis and John Snowden. When we learned that there were at least 5 of these brutal acts of terrorism here in Anne Arundel County, Maryland, that were recognized through the Equal Justice Initiative, a highly respected organization founded by the work of Brian Stevenson, and that the Equal Justice Initiative wanted to help us further document the history of a county, we had to respond.
So that was just a brief video from that day. And Monica, you did a powerful speech, and it leads us into our partnership with EJI. Before we get into that, there is just a video. This is a photo from the rededication of the marker on June 15th earlier this year. Again, thanks to the generosity of the Anne Arundel County Public Library for housing it in Severna Park. We thought it was particularly important for it to be in Severna Park so that in North County in general, there tends to not be as much education about the history of racial terror in our county. And so we wanted to make sure that education was getting where it needed to be.
And I think that responds to, I of course see a question in the chat about the selection of the locations. When we placed the original marker on Calvert Street, because that location is right across from, as I mentioned earlier, the jail at the time. We now know it as the Arundel Center. And that's where Henry Davis and several others actually were met their final end. And then, as Emma just shared, the second location at Severna Park Library, we selected that location because of the fact that that's a highly trafficked area, and as well as the opportunity to educate about county history.
So why are we doing this? We've already sort of gone into it, but this is just to clarify more of what our relationship with the Equal Justice Initiative means and what they do. So as has been mentioned, our coalition works in collaboration with the Equal Justice Initiative, founded in 1989 by Brian Stevenson, a widely acclaimed public interest lawyer and best-selling author of the book Just Mercy. EJI is a private 501c3 nonprofit that provides legal representation to people who have been illegally convicted, unfairly sentenced, or abused in state jails and prisons. And as is clear from this presentation, they do so much more than that in terms of historical preservation and reconciliation. You may know that the film Just Mercy that came out last year is based on his early life and on his founding of EJI. We also hosted a screening of that last year. There was also an additional screening, I think, in Baltimore County. So yeah, lots of collaborations happening. EJI's community, as I mentioned, there are a lot of things that they do. EJI's Community Remembrance Project is a part of the campaign to recognize the victims of lynching by collecting soil from lynching sites, erecting historical markers, and developing the National Memorial for Peace and Justice, which acknowledges the horrors of racial injustice. As a part of its effort to help towns, cities, and states confront and recover from tragic histories of racial violence and terrorism, joining with communities to install historical markers in communities where the history of lynching is documented. EJI believes that by reckoning with the truth of the racial violence that has shaped our communities, community members can begin a necessary conversation that advances healing and reconciliation. And it is in that exact spirit which Monica and Jen founded Connecting the Dots years ago.
So with our founding of Connecting the Dots, and then aligning with the Equal Justice Initiative, I guess it was about a year and a half, 2 years later, I attended a conference with, that was the brainchild of Will Schwartz of the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. And at this conference, there was a call to action. And the call to action was to have coalitions join the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project's desire to assist the Equal Justice Initiative with having locations that have coalitions where there were identified locations of lynching. So as Anne Arundel County was one of them, it was by happenstance that I attended the conference on one Saturday, and that next week we were having our regular monthly Connecting the Dots meeting. And at that meeting, I brought to the table what I had heard about the call to action that was coming through the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project from the Equal Justice Initiative. And as a committee all around the table said this would be a great opportunity to not only make an impact as we were doing locally, but also have a Maryland statewide impact as well as nationally recognized impact. So we partnered, as you saw in the earlier slide, with the Equal Justice Initiative as well as with the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. And the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project is an all-volunteer 501c3 organization that works to advance the cause of reconciliation in our state by documenting the history of racial terror lynchings, advocating for public acknowledgement of these murders, and working to honor and dignify the lives of victims. So we are all in alignment, and it seemed like it was a necessary and serendipitous connection that we drew a line straight from the national through to the state, all the way down to the local action, and that's exactly what we're doing. And it's been a pleasure to work with the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. They've been so helpful, and Will has been a tremendous help and assistance in all kinds of different ways. So it's been an amazing partnership.
It has. Thank you to Will and the entire Maryland Lynching Memorial Project for all that you do. So this will answer the question that was asked at the top, and it's also a question in the Q&A. The exact question was how many lynchings happened in Maryland, and were they always African Americans? I cannot speak to the racial makeup. We focus on the lynchings of Black citizens, so I can't answer that part of the question. But to answer the first half of the question, there are at least 40 reported lynchings that took place in Maryland. What I'm showing you here is it's a Baltimore Sun site that has listed those 40 lynchings in Maryland. You can find them. A red indicator is clearly where a lynching occurred. You can see the cluster here where Anne Arundel County is. I always do that. I always zoom in the wrong way. As was pointed out in the comments by a couple of people, I know I saw this from Renee, is that's just the number of recorded lynchings that we have.
And we always have to emphasize that because, you know, these are the known ones, right? These are the ones that have actually been documented, but who knows what those figures are for the unknown ones. So we always have to be respectful and realize that there are those who we may never know the answers to what happened. So here you see, oops, could you go back to that? Here you see our first victim that we did a remembrance for, Henry Davis, December 21st, 1906. Happened in Annapolis in Anne Arundel County. And we're gonna provide a little bit more information about him, but as you can see, there's, if you go to visit the site, there is some information about him here, but the unfortunate piece is that we don't have a whole lot of information about these victims. And as we go through, we're gonna be, you know, discussing that and the challenges of that and the challenges of how the media may have projected these individuals because of their race and because of the time they were in, and how they, in some cases, were dehumanized. And these were human beings with families and lives. And this is how they're memorialized. So we're trying to change that and give a little more humanity to it. So part of the reason why we're doing this program this evening is because when we were doing the marker, there was a lot more that we wanted to put words-wise on the marker. But because of the limitations with how many words can fit on the marker, size-wise, we did have to limit it to 250 words. So that truncated information that we wanted to add to humanize them a little bit and to give them more than just a date and what happened that caused their demise. And we've done research looking for that information, and in some cases we found some information, and in some cases, unfortunately, we haven't, but we're still looking.
Yes, so these are the 5 known victims of lynching in Anne Arundel County, again, emphasizing that these are the ones we have recorded. So their names were Henry Davis, George Bristow, King Johnson, John Sims, and Wright Smith. I would just like, could we take an opportunity to just have a moment of silence for these 5 people who are not remembered for the correct thing and who deserve to be honored. Thanks. All right. So we will be giving you a little bit of background, as Monica said, to humanize each of these individuals for you. The first that we have is Henry Davis.
So Henry Davis, we were able to find out, was a laborer and a husband. He was married. We don't know if he had any children or not. He was lynched in Annapolis right around 4 days before Christmas, December 21st. So you can imagine what that grieving wife might have felt like when she got the information about her husband who was no more, right, 4 days before Christmas. So according to the documentation we found, there were many things that says his age was unknown, but we were able to find that it looked like he was 23 years old at the time of the lynching, and only 5 feet tall and 110 pounds. So he was, you know, a bit of a waif of a man. The media, the newspapers reported him to be, you know, this violent terror brute of a man. But, you know, he might have been muscular, but for his weight and height, it seems that he was probably pretty diminutive. I'm 5'4", and I'm way over 110 pounds. So that's a pretty light weight. And it is known that he came from, or he lived in the area of Waterbury in Annapolis.
And I also just wanted to point out there that in the photo, the reason we included that photo is it's at College Creek, which is where he was lynched. And in the picture is Elliot Spillers, who is a representative from EJI, who was helping us with a soil collection for Henry.
So while Henry Davis was awaiting trial, a mob overpowered the guards at the jail on Calvert Street. And basically what they did is they paraded him through the town as a warning to the Black community. So again, I'll remind you, this is 4 days before Christmas. This is the time of year where, you know, if you've had a rough year, at least you're looking forward to it. And this is going on in the Annapolis neighborhood the evening, right when people should be getting into holiday cheer. They are terrorized in their neighborhood as literally a mob drags this man down the street to his ultimate death, where he was shot and hanged by College Creek. So it wasn't enough just to hang him, but then he was riddled with bullets afterwards. And then the sad part was, as if it wasn't enough to terrorize the neighborhood, terrorize him, leave a grieving wife, but on top of that, pictures were taken and sold as postcards after his death. So an amazing lack of humanity that existed in this situation.
There was a question that I wanted to address before we went to the next person. It's from Deirdre. We mentioned that the victim, whose first name was John, his last name was Sims. She's asking who then was John Snowden, who was mentioned earlier as being buried at Brewers Hill. I don't know the answer to that question.
Right. So John Snowden was actually, so he was hanged. I guess that would be the differentiation between a legalized prosecution versus someone who was an extrajudicial lynching. So John Snowden was actually the last man who was hung at the old jail. And I see this other question asking about the two memorials on West Street. They are at the Brewers Hill Cemetery where John Snowden is buried. Were the postcards recovered? So actually, interestingly enough, I believe it was about 2 years ago, some people were able to find these postcards on a site that were still actually selling them. Do you remember that? Was that about 2 years ago, Emma?
I honestly don't recall. It might have been before my time.
Okay. I believe it was about 2 years ago, and that you were able to basically, you can still find these images available in the public domain. So our next victim, Emma, do you want to hop into George Bristow?
Yes. So our next victim was George Bristow. He was lynched in Jacobsville, Maryland, near Pasadena on November 21st, 1884. Again, need to point out that it was close to the holiday season. This photo that's pictured here is, if you know that Pasadena area, it's the sign that's right before a bridge, a very short bridge that goes away from Savannah Park. So that's the approximate location of Mr. Briscoe's death. Bristow allegedly irritated a judge and the onlookers in the gallery by, quote, displaying bravado. I don't know what that means, but there were whispers even in the courtroom of lynching him.
Basically, he was too brave and too sassy for them, that he was, speaking up for himself, using his voice, not shrinking back, not being fearful. I'm sure there's, the fact that he wasn't showing fear in the face of it, irritated them.
Yes, and so the fact that there were whispers of lynching him even within the courtroom, it's therefore then shocking. I didn't put it in here, but the deputies that were escorting Bristow to Annapolis to be held indicated that they weren't worried about his safety, that they weren't worried that there was going to be an attempt on his life, which seems slightly odd, seeing as there were whispers of lynching him in the courtroom. So Bristow, on his way, as he was being transported to Annapolis to await trial, the deputies that were escorting him were I'm going to put in quotes, overpowered by a mob that then tore Bristow out of the carriage and hanged him from a nearby tree.
And unfortunately, with George Bristow, we don't have any information about his personal life like we'd like to share with you. And again, that's why our work continues. We still, are looking for people who may know family members, or who may have stories to share, or who may have any type of information available to share, or resources. So the work isn't done. The work is in no way completed, because there are still a lot of questions and a lot of things that we need to do in order to really and truly make this a true reconciliation and remembrance. So the next victim is King Johnson. And King Johnson is the one that we will be doing the remembrance for in December of this year. We are aiming for December, I keep getting the dates mixed up, December 11th, right?
December 11th.
Okay, because the scholarship due date is November 15th and it's December 11th, okay? And again, if we look, we see the date that this occurred was on Christmas Day in 1911. So King Johnson was a laborer. He was murdered on Christmas Day. He was married. So there was a wife, a woman who had a husband no more on a day that should have been a day full of joy and celebration and family gatherings. This is what she had to deal with on this particular day, is the death of her husband. He lived in the Fairfield area of Anne Arundel County.
I can pick it up.
I wanted to do this one, Emma, so I'm going to let you take over from here, because you said you wanted to. Let's drop
Sorry. Oh no, you're fine. You know more than me. So I did want to specifically indicate this is a photo that I found in the archives, and the X is presumably where Mr. Johnson's body was discovered on Christmas morning by a young boy. I believe the boy was 14 years old, and Mr. Schwartz can correct me if I'm wrong about that. Yes, so Mr. Johnson was accused of murder and locked in the Anne Arundel County Jail in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, I always get this wrong. It used to be a part of Anne Arundel County, but it is now a part of Baltimore City. So there is a tiny bit of confusion around that, but we still remember him as it was Anne Arundel County at that time. A mob stormed the unguarded jail, which coincidentally is one of the things that the grand jury after this pointed out was not acceptable about the situation. And yet no one was held to account for his murder. Not even, I won't say things that I don't know. So I won't go on with that. But they stormed the jail. They beat Johnson over the head with a rod to subdue him because he fought for his life. He did try to fight back. They then dragged him around to a field on 2nd Avenue, which was a new street at that time in Brooklyn, where he was shot 4 times. They, in fact, shot him at such close range in some cases that the powder singed his clothes. No one came forward to report hearing or seeing anything the night of the murder, and his lynching remains unsolved.
So the next person is John Sims. John Sims, a farmer, who was lynched outside of Annapolis, November 28th, 1875. So again, we're near another holiday, Thanksgiving holiday, you know. His age is unknown. And again, he was someone who was accused of assaulting a white woman. He never had true justice because he was dragged from his cell by a mob and lynched in the woods around Annapolis. And as the media painted him as a fiend and never really gave him an opportunity to have real justice. We don't have a lot about John Sims, again, another individual who we don't know if he had children. We don't know, we don't know his age. So there is definitely a lot of information that we hope that we can eventually find to fill in some of these blanks for these terrible incidents and these victims. So this next individual, interestingly enough, oh yes, it seemed like terror was a pattern during the holidays. It just seemed like, at least for the 4 in Anne Arundel County, Thanksgiving and Christmas seemed like a time where things really got riled up, and this was happening. So yeah, unfortunately. Wright Smith, he's our final victim that we have documentation about. And as you can see in this picture, this was the certificate of death for him. And it's just interesting when you look at these documents. Either they recycled it or they were using it for somebody else. But I mean, as this is the final notice of someone's death, they just scratched it out. Not, you know, just no humanity in that. Just lynched Wright Smith, Annapolis, County Anne Arundel, didn't even bother to fill in the other information. They did make sure to mark out the fact that he was not white and he was not female. So they did make it clear he was neither one of those demographics, but they didn't even bother to fill in the other information, whether or not he was married or single or a widow or widower or divorced or had children or even an occupation for that matter. It just was just unceremoniously done. It seems like they could have cared less whether or not this information was appropriately completed. He was a politician, a laborer and politician from Baltimore. So in his particular case, the governor did end up responding in a way that the other victims didn't have the benefit of, because whatever they were attempting to accuse him of, and it was assaulting a white woman, as we've seen the pattern exists for that as well. The people who gunned him down, they did attempt to have some form of justice. And interestingly enough, Wiley Bates, so if you're from Annapolis and you're familiar with Wiley H. Bates Legacy Center, he offered a resolution in the city condemning Smith's death. And this is a copy of that handwritten resolution that he offered. Unfortunately, it was rejected, though. It just shows the mindset of the people on the city council at that time. The county and state, though, agreed on a reward for those who could point out the rest of the lynchers. But of course, we haven't seen any documentation that anyone was able to do that, even though it was a mob that came in and removed him from the jail. And it's interesting that the warden didn't notice because they were so stealthy. This mob was so stealthy that the warden wasn't able to be aware that his person was being stolen away. So we'll leave that where it is. Whether or not that was accidentally or on purpose, who knows?
And Monica was the one to originally raise this point that it's worth noting that he was a politician. So an up and coming Black politician at that time. Again, I don't have substantiation for this, but it stands to reason based on previous incidents that could have been part of the reason why his death happened the way it was. So the common bond, connecting the dots, as it were. So there's two ways of connecting the dots here. The first we've mentioned throughout, the common bond between these 5 men and these 5 lynchings. So they all occurred in Anne Arundel County, obviously. Most included media coverage covering the lynchings that was biased towards the lynchers or had blatantly racist leanings. We saw this with John Sims. This was also present in King Johnson's newspaper reports. I've read so many of them that just completely painted him in such a racist light. Most involved a Black man being accused of assault by a white woman. And all of them were killed before they were able to have their day in court and have their due process as promised under our system. Did you want to add anything, Monica, to that?
No, I think it's, pretty clear.
There was a question, do we know where Wright Smith was a politician and what office he was in? I have no idea. I actually just learned that from Monica recently, but it is documented that he was a politician. It's in the article.
He was a politician in Baltimore. And if I recall correctly, I believe he lived on Bayard Street.
So we're getting close to the end here, but we wanted to show this video from EJI that connects the dots in a secondary but more macro sort of way, in that you can very clearly draw a line from slavery, the slave trade, to slavery, to racial terror, lynchings, to Jim Crow, to current day mass incarceration and police brutality. And I don't mean that to say that police brutality only exists today. I'm just saying that its current iteration is a direct result of the police brutality and systemic racism of the past. And so this video from EJI connects some of those dots.
After slavery was prohibited in 1865, formerly enslaved people in America were granted full citizenship, the right to vote, and under the 14th Amendment, protection from racial violence. Formerly enslaved people were promised land and opportunity, but most got nothing because America quickly devolved into an era of racial terrorism and oppression for Black citizens. White people in the South were angry that people formerly considered property were now equal citizens. Many turned to violence. In the years immediately following the Civil War, thousands of Black people were murdered when they tried to claim their rights. Soon afterwards, federal troops were withdrawn from the South, ending a brief period of racial progress known as Reconstruction. Nationwide resistance to racial equality resulted in the reestablishment of racial subordination through biased laws, disenfranchisement, and terrorism, most dramatically enforced through lynchings. Racial terror lynchings of Black people defined a shameful era in America. These lynchings differed from the hanging of white people in places where there was no functioning criminal justice system. Racial terror lynchings were directed at all Black people. They enforced compliance with racial hierarchy and white supremacy, and ensured racial segregation and denial of equal rights. In 1916, in Cedar Bluff, Mississippi, a young Black man named Jeff Brown accidentally bumped into a white woman while running to catch a train. A white mob stopped him and lynched him, beating him and then hanging him from a tree for his insolence and carelessness. His public murder was not about criminal punishment, but was instead about maintaining racial hierarchy and terrorizing the Black community. White town residents proudly sold photographs of Mr. Brown's brutalized body hanging from the tree for 5 cents each. The Equal Justice Initiative has documented thousands of racial terror lynchings between 1877 and 1950. EJI has confirmed the lynchings of over 4,000 Black people who were tortured, maimed, beaten, shot, hung, and burned alive by crowds of white people, often with the cooperation of law enforcement or government officials. The terror of lynching was so widespread that millions of Black people fled the South and settled in the urban North and West as refugees of American terror, shaping the current demographic geography of the United States. On July 5, 1933, an older Black woman named Elizabeth Lawrence reprimanded a group of white children who threw rocks at her as she walked home from work. Word spread that a Black woman had dared to rebuke white children, and that night, an angry mob of white citizens lynched Ms. Lawrence for her audacity. Her home was then burned to the ground. Her son, Alexander, fled to Boston. Racial terror lynchings often had the atmosphere of carnivals, with food vendors and souvenir stands. Hundreds or thousands of white people would often gather to watch and take part in the torture and murder of Black citizens. There has been no effort in America to confront this legacy of racial terror. While hundreds of Confederate monuments litter the landscape in southern states, there has been no public recognition of the violence endured by Black people. On October 7, 1910, a white mob in Montgomery, Alabama tried to abduct and lynch Black men being held in jail on suspicion of miscegenation or interracial sexual relations. When they were unable to get the men out of the jail, the frustrated mob lynched a Black taxi driver named John Dell, who was sitting in his cab nearby. No one was ever arrested or prosecuted for his murder. EJI's Community Remembrance Project collects soil from the many sites where terror lynchings occurred. Jars labeled with the names of murdered Black citizens are on public display at EJI, a powerful visual reminder of history we must face. EJI is working to create a permanent memorial to honor victims of lynching, a place to reflect on America's history of racial violence. We hope to place historical markers at hundreds of lynching sites around the country. Contemporary issues like police violence, excessive punishment in the criminal justice system, and even harsh and punitive treatment of children of color in schools and on streets cannot be understood without a deeper examination into our history of racial violence. More truthful discourse and reflection on our history of racial injustice is essential for us to achieve racial equity. Confronting the legacy of lynching is critical to advancing this conversation. We hope you will join our effort to help towns, cities, and states confront and recover from these tragic histories of racial violence through truth and reconciliation, where there can truly be equal justice for all. After slavery
Well, thank you so much for your attention during that video. As we're at just about time, so I want to thank you for being here, and if you can just hang on with us for a couple more minutes. I know that Mr. Snowden has the philosophy of we start on time, we end on time. Just give us a few minutes. So we just wanted to acknowledge our key partners again, the Equal Justice Initiative and the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project. We also want to acknowledge all of our key partners in the Anne Arundel County. This includes many organizations, but among them is the Anne Arundel County branch of the NAACP, the CAS of Anne Arundel County, the Caucus of African American Leaders, the Coming to the Table groups of Anne Arundel County, March on Maryland, South County is Kind, and WISE.
Absolutely. We thank you for joining us this evening. We hope that this program has shed a little more humanity on those 5 that we know of in Anne Arundel County. And as we said, we are still looking, we are still researching, we are still trying to learn more. We definitely know that there has to be more out there. It's just a matter of us looking for it and uncovering it. So we do need help. Volunteers are always welcome. We have a fantastic group of people, but many hands make light work. So if you are interested in following any of our social media and joining us, please do feel free to email us at ctdaaco@gmail.com. You can also follow our social media to find out what we're up to and to get updates on events. We really and truly thank you so much for your participation this evening. And we hope to see you again soon.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. Emma, can you stop sharing just for a quick moment? Wonderful. Thank you. Emma, Monica, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I learned so much. The marker, we're honored to have it at our Severna Park Library, but that humanity that you brought with their stories tonight is something that is so incredibly important, and it is not something that most of us know. And beginning these conversations, one tiny step, but I thank you both for your time, for your dedication to this work, and for sharing it with our customers this evening. And for all of the folks that joined us tonight, thank you for joining us. And again, thank you to our Library Foundation for providing the financial support. This program has been recorded tonight. As I mentioned earlier, it will be on our YouTube channel. You can also view the Maryland Lynching program that we hosted a few weeks ago. It does take us a couple of weeks to get these captioned properly and well. So I do appreciate your patience, but definitely check out our YouTube channel. We're adding more things to it all the time. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you again.
Good evening. Thank you.